Chat, here we go. We've got DrKnown versus Drku. It's a debut for Drku. We have seen DrKnown play on the channel a few times now, especially after the end of Next Gen. DrKnown, a 13-year-old Saudi Arabian player who has pushed into the top 100 recently and played well. I believe he finished around 4th, right? Just behind Fast, Ahmad, and Dark. DrKnown played well. But today he's going to be playing against Drku, our debut player. Somebody who maybe you haven't seen before. But if you follow TikTok, you probably have. Drku, big following on TikTok. But also a very talented ones player, pushing into the top 100 a few different times. You'll see him play 1v1s, kind of full 1v1s against top players, as well as you'll just see him in other top players' ranked streams. Because he's in a lot of these high-level games. So we're going to see how he does in a show match against somebody who now has a bit of show match experience in DrKnown, who is trying to be, as it says on his name, the next O'Khaled. And what we've seen from him so far in 1v1 is not a bad start. He has been a very smart 1v1 player. Drku, on the other hand, at least, you know, in his content creation, is known for being very mechanical and winning in spectacular fashion. So we'll see which of the two strategies has the edge today. Isn't Drku mechy? Yes, he is. New scoreboard overlay. If you haven't been here in the past couple days, we have upgraded the overlay. And I changed something again. You guys know what I changed. So last time I made it between Saturday and Sunday of Next Gen, we ended up making it like skinnier, not as wide. And I changed something else again. Does anybody know? I think it'd be pretty hard to notice. I'll be pretty impressed if anybody actually calls it out. I think you guys are just guessing. Yeah, it's not font. It's not the clock size. Boost was on top before. Yeah, I mean, it's just as bold as it was before. So it's pretty tough. The opacity, like the like how transparent the background behind the names is, it got less transparent. I don't think anyone was gonna guess that. So that's what it is. Drku dumped it on the back line. DrKnown. Ooh, just barely actually ended up scoring that. That was your next guess? Yeah, I'm sure. Aeronaut's like, oh, I was about to type it. I was typing it out, and I gave it to you. DrKnown, low 50. Wow, what a recovery from Drku. Seemed like he had left the net open and was like a bouncy ball right back up off the ground in front of the play. Holding on to 36 boost right now. Looking for a way to keep DrKnown pinned. DrKnown, close cut, forcing Drku to the wall, but he's going to play comfortably off the ceiling. Has the reset, but no finish. So DrKnown tries to just dive in for boost because he wants to prevent Drku from starving him out after what was a pretty weak aerial attempt, but that actually ends up playing into Drku's hand. He's able to demo him because he's going to win the race to the corner and will tie up the game. Scrumptious Pizza, thank you for the prime and contributing to that prime till full-time movement. Much appreciated. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you have ever primed while I was offline, I actually do end up seeing most of those because when I pull up my Twitch dashboard, they're there. And so I do appreciate it. But I don't know how I can send thank you to those people, but you're getting it right now if you've ever done that. Because definitely a few people have. As Drku gets the low 50, they have primed when I think they just watch on YouTube. Drku air dribble reset. I'm not sure he got the reset, but DrKnown was there. Another aerial attack. This time the reset is definitely gotten. You could tell even from DrKnown's perspective. Dark gonna make it 5-3, or Drku, I should say. Gonna make it 5-3. Can't call him Dark because there is a Dark. DrKnown wants a different server after this one. No worries. Heinous, thank you for the Prime. The brand new Prime. Nice backflip. Really strong flick off the wall. Ooh, but there was a window to get an angle. He needed to wait long enough so that he didn't just slam it into the near post, but not so long that he went across the field, which is what ended up happening. DrKnown holding on to 40 boost. He is so patient on the goal line, but Drku somehow gets the save. How did he keep that out? DrKnown seemed like he got him to completely miss, and then he clipped the ball just barely. And that was actually a crucial save. I mean, that save might have been the game-winning save, depending on how the rest of this minute goes. DrKnown once again just coming to a full-on stop outside Drku's net. Trying to get Drku to panic. Drku has not, or at least when he has panicked, he's been able to recover. Oh, there we go. Low 50. Drku has to recognize DrKnown has taken the safest option in every single one of these situations. Within one with 30 seconds left to go. Wave dash kickoff for both these guys. Drku won it big time, though, and I think it's just going to be a freebie goal. DrKnown's best chance was maybe bumping Drku after it went all the way into the blue half, and that's what he tried to do. He tried to pre-flip, or really just flip, I guess, into the back of Drku's car. Wave dash kickoff might get him a quick one right back, though. Tapping the ball into the corner in the process of getting boost. Great containment of that clear, but that first touch is not it. Wait, just kidding, it maybe is it, as Drku dives and bumps DrKnown just enough. So yeah, this is going to take too long. DrKnown, you can't take 6 seconds when you have 6 seconds. He seems to really want to play it slow, even when his only win condition is slamming the ball directly in net, having it go in, and then going to a kickoff. He still played it slow, which just guaranteed he's going to lose. So have to speed it up sometimes. Change server and give me 1 minute. All right, we're going to hop to a new server, but game number 1, going to go to Drku in his debut match against DrKnown. Game. I did. Do you need a new one? Or is this a good one? It's got 96 ping or 100 ping. I did switch it, but I figured if he asked me if I switched it, then he could be asking, or basically saying, I have bad ping on this one too. So can we get a new one? We'll see. Drku's going to score first. DrKnown looked more comfortable on this server. I haven't seen him try an aerial like that at all in the previous game. We want a tournament like Double Vision for EU and Mina. You want a 2v2 tournament then? By the way, chat, I forgot to mention this. I am trying to get a 2v2 show match. I'm trying to get a 2v2 show match, and I only bring it up because I'm pretty close to getting it. I think it'll happen, and it'll be this Saturday. This Saturday is when it'll happen. DrKnown a demo and a first goal. All I'll say about the 2v2 show match is you guys will be like, yeah, that's a good match. We needed that match. That's what you'll say when you find out what it is. There's 3v3 show matches next weekend. I think you're talking, unless you're talking about RLCS qualifiers starting. There's also the EU 3v3 tournament. That's on a Tuesday and Wednesday. That was actually not a weekend I remember seeing, which was interesting. DrKnown kickoff win, 2 straight. Now with the lead. It's ironic that the pros most played game mode is 2s. What is the least created show match format? Yeah, it's my theory. One of my theories for that is that there is no teams. There are no 2s teams, and because there are no 2s teams, whenever you get a show match, it just almost feels like kind of random. It's like, oh yeah, that guy and that guy are teaming. Okay, whatever. You know, even if you get them on the same country, which is nice, it's like, okay, US versus Brazil or something, or it's like, okay, but when there's like a team that you kind of follow and know how good they are, DrKnown trying to pop off right now, that's when they get more exciting. So right now, Daniel and Beast Mode, after the course of many tournaments, have become a team, right? Daniel and Beast Mode are the team. So everyone wants to see them against other people. How does Daniel and Beast Mode fare? You know, that kind of team, there's not a ton of them. I feel like the Falcons guys is a twos team. You know, maybe Khaled Ahmad, like that's like a twos team. Like that was a twos team. Who can they play against? And you can get almost anybody against that special twos team. But you got to create them somehow. Great bounce dribble. Yeah, true. There's a lot of YouTube content for twos and stuff. There's just not a lot of show matches for it. Also, it takes twice as many people. Or sorry. Yeah, twice. Let's say 4 times. That's not true. Twice as many people to set that up, which is way harder to do show match wise. Jorby actually did a bunch of 2 show matches for a while, and I was impressed because those are hard to set up. DrKnown going to go for a full field dribble. Not normally his favorite kind of attack. Finishes off with a low 50. And the post bounce. It's one that he's going to be able to control, but not with a ton of boost. Trying to make things work with only a couple pads. And Drku had just taken that back corner, so DrKnown forced into the midfield. These guys have been very evenly matched. Previous game and this one. DrKnown, I can't believe he didn't go for the demo there. I guess he was expecting Drku to dodge it. Now Drku's going to flick over the top of him and score. But as he dove in there, a demo would have been a goal. If he had turned towards Drku and just went for the demo. But in a world in which he goes for said demo that I was talking about and Drku jumps over it, that's worst case scenario. He'd rather make a play on the ball than that happening. So I think what he decided was, this demo attempt is way too telegraphed, so I shouldn't go for it. I'll just go ball. That being said, I think if Drku was going to dodge the bump, then we would have seen him jump. Does that make sense? We didn't see him jump. He stayed grounded, which to me tells me he would not have dodged the bump, and you actually just could have demoed him. But, you know, there's tons of back and forth. DrKnown does not control this touch off his own back wall. And so a little bit of separation for Drku once again. Drku looks very composed for a debut. He has played a lot of 1v1. He's definitely made it high in the show match world. And I think DrKnown and Drku are right around the same rank in ranked 1v1 right now. So I bet you that these guys have played a good amount of games in ranked before. And this is not a mysterious matchup to them, because I think both of them are playing a good amount recently. Every once in a while, even players who are in the top 100 kind of aren't queuing. But I think these guys are queuing. So if they're around the same rank and they're queuing, I bet you they've played against each other a lot. That's right. Drku has played... This is the first time on my stream. I think Drku played in D7, the French 1v1 streamer. Or not 1v1 streamer. He's just a Rocket League streamer. But he did a 1v1 tournament. I think Drku was in that. He's played on Johnny Boy's stream as well. Is that right? You remember Lone Star? Yeah, I do remember Lone Star. That was a long time ago. When did Drku play on Johnny's stream? Oh, he was part of England. He was part of Team England. Is that right? For the World Cup. Is that when he played? Bounce dribble, power shot. It's going to get saved. DrKnown wants the long shot. Top right. Wow, what a shot. DrKnown ripping it across the whole field to equalize late in the game. It's prime time. Why problem? Thank you for the 5 months of prime time. Who was on Team England? It was Toxic, Gomb, and then who was the third? But did Revsy play? For Team England in the 1v1 World Cup. No, Jack didn't play. No, Jack didn't play. You guys aren't about to convince me that Jack played. He didn't play in the 1v1 World Cup. Revsy. Yeah, Gom, Toxic, Revsy. It was me? I played for England? Well, game number 2 coming down to the wire right now. DrKnown off the side wall. He has to keep it in the air if he wants to win it on 0 seconds, and he will! DrKnown clutching up in game number 2. Takes it off the wall at 0, and Drku was going to the ground. He was worried about something going low, and you think about why would he be? If he goes high and forces something down towards the ground, even if it lands 70% in, as long as it touches ground, he's made the save. So I think you'd want to protect high as opposed to low, but DrKnown equalizing the series. So we head to game number 3. This is not the only match for today. We have KV1 versus Bems after this. And maybe we have Braziers versus somebody who seems interested today, but we'll see. I think we might just have to do these 2 matches. I do have plans later tonight that I think a 3rd match would creep into. Yo, Heon X, thank you for the brand new Prime. Welcome to the Prime till full-time movement. DrKnown, given all the space in the world. We saw him get this space the previous game as well. Drku, not the kind of defender who wants to be smothering, it seems. More than willing to reset in net as long as he has his 100 boost, which is a style you do see from some ones players, but not one that people seem to get away with for very long as they attempt to push high into the top 100 into the 1v1 world. Almost always have to keep a bit higher pressure because the attackers just become too efficient. You give them room, they're going to put something completely unsavable on your net. Drku's going to try and cut this one before DrKnown's recovery. DrKnown, quick play. Couldn't get the long shot on target, but still frees himself up. Drku. Carry. Delayed flick. Super soft. DrKnown needs to try and convert this for a goal. A flick, as poor as Drku's just was, should be something that is heavily punished. And really, DrKnown didn't get much out of it, which is too bad. Drku getting away with one. Another weak attack that DrKnown knows to just leave and grab 100 boost. Drku, I like this bounce dribble setup. Try to chip early. DrKnown's defense is very impressive. I think it was DrKnown against Dark that we saw some really solid defending out of DrKnown. Drku full field dribble. This time doesn't use the reset. DrKnown able to push it down to the ground. And then has the patience not to panic as he approaches that ball again. You see Drku was expecting him to. DrKnown decision making inside his box is near perfect, it seems. Can't believe we haven't had a goal in that first half of this game. DrKnown, low 50, gets his first. I don't know who it was. Somebody was talking to me about, oh, it was the guy who was doing the overlay. Talking to me about how the numbers will have to resize if overtime goes to 10 minutes long. I was like, I don't think I've ever had an overtime anywhere close to that. Because it'd be the equivalent of having a 1-goal game, right? 2 1-goal games back-to-back. Or sorry, just not back-to-back. But yeah, no, yeah, 2 1-goals game back-to-back. Imagine that. Like, have we ever had... I think the lowest scoring game I've ever had is 2-1. I don't even think I've had a 1-0 game. So it had to really go stagnant to get to 10 minutes of overtime. But if these guys really want to, they can attempt to break the scoreboard. by going deep into overtime. DrKnown, reset. Drku jumps, and the bounce is just underneath the crossbar. I wasn't sure if the natural bounce was going to be too high. DrKnown ends up knowing he's well off with the reset. He didn't even really need to bump Drku. After Drku came off the wall, he was not going to get back up to that one. Why do Twitch streamers call their viewers chat? YouTubers don't call their viewers comments. You're going to start calling you guys comments. Call them commenters, right? I guess you call them chatters. I guess I could say chatters. But then, yeah, comments. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I'll allow it. I don't expect YouTubers to start doing that anytime soon, but... Drku's going to tie this up. DrKnown not wanting to dive and attack this ball. He turned in towards it and then tried to back off when he saw Drku going for it, but I imagine if he had just continued his turn and challenge, he would have been okay. Losing this kickoff. The scoring is starting now. Took us a while to get that first goal, but the thing about kickoffs is they can really accelerate the game, especially when you get a few in a row. Another wave dash kickoff. DrKnown. Wow, super aggressive. You had to think that he was going back for boost. I love this decision making by DrKnown. Drku is certain that DrKnown is leaving to go to that back corner to get 100, and Drku thinks, I've got space, I got time. I'm going to go to the midfield. I'm going to turn around, start to set up my attack. Maybe it's going to be bounce dribble. It's going to be whatever I want because I have time. But DrKnown didn't leave. Despite having 0 boost, he decided to jump and stay right on the ball, and that's why he got such a free demo. Drku never expecting him to come, and because he's dribbling back to the orange half, he doesn't have vision to tell him that DrKnown had decided to stick around to play. And now DrKnown, a kickoff goal to get a lead, and this is actually a pretty nifty shot from Drku to tie it back up. A kickoff win, but flipping onto the wall and quickly back off of it to send it on target. DrKnown trying to bump Drku in the process of getting this boost. Drku recognizing he could steal the back corner 100 and leave DrKnown completely starved. DrKnown, though, has been in this spot a million times in ranked. Doesn't seem to be worried about playing with just one pad. In fact, he is much quicker to the ball than Drku's expecting. He's going to try and get a demo right back, and even though he doesn't connect, does force Drku onto the wall. And this one feels like a touch too many. Being said, DrKnown maybe gonna prove me wrong. He gets demoed. He needs a good respawn, and that's not a good respawn. You need to risky respawn right under the ball, or maybe in front of it. But I think DrKnown, who is trying to stretch the limit of how aggressive he could stay, just went one touch too many in the orange half. But he's won a kickoff in the last 4 seconds, and he clutched up at the end of last game. He'll pop this to the ceiling. And you don't normally go to the ceiling and come back down when you want to get a 0-second goal because the trajectory is so much stronger towards the ground after you've come off the ceiling, and you can't afford for the ball to bounce. The ball can't bounce. So normally you want to take a really slow, arched, high shot that floats, you know, much, much more. I think too often when you go to the ceiling, come back down, it comes down with pace, and you're not going to be able to stop it from hitting the ground and getting a good shot. But anyways, game number 3. Gonna go to Drku. We'll head to game 4. Game number 4. Drku trying to win his debut. DrKnown doing his best to show what he's got. Oh, look at the shot. I think we can see exactly what he has. And what he has right now is a ceiling reset into a musty. He's trying to prove a point. He heard me talk about the previous end of the game where he came off the ceiling and I was saying the ball might bounce. He says, look, Feer, the ball does not have to bounce just because I got my reset on the ceiling. And the way I could show it to you is with a nice musty to start off this game. DrKnown, this is a full field type bounce if he wants. But also it's a long shot bounce. Long shot, certainly much safer and much less likely to turn into a scoring opportunity. That's the trade-off, and in general, we have seen DrKnown pick the safer option when having the choice between a few. And at the same time, he does things like hitting that first goal of this game. Makes you think he definitely has it in his arsenal, whether he's choosing to use it or not. Missed first touch. I'll take this to the opposite corner. And Drku's there. Prevent him from dribbling. And Drku uses the reset. Can he follow it up? He can. Drku punishing the boost miss in the opposite corner. DrKnown forced to go across his net, and Drku's there. Instead of letting DrKnown get a setup, he steals the wall to air dribble setup. He's able to get the reset and the follow-up to tie the game. Where has Yan been? Yan has been in South America. So after Furia did not qualify for the previous split, Yan and the rest of Furia went back to South America for the holidays and only came back just recently. I think like a week ago, it seems. Furia came back to Miami. I believe that's where they are. And getting ready for the next split. So Yan, especially if you're following the 1v1 scene, you haven't seen him around because Yan has always been uninterested in playing 140 ping 1v1s, which is not surprising. Tons of players would be unwilling to play 140 ping 1v1. And now that he's back in the US, hopefully we'll get to convince him to hop into a couple show matches against some of the guys who've been playing well in North America, because I think obviously everyone is really excited about seeing Yan. Game slowing down again like we saw even game number 3. DrKnown taking a bit of a risk and getting scored on, and maybe that's why we see him playing so safe at times. This was, I mean, I have to go back and watch that from DrKnown's perspective. We were watching from Drku's, but if you go back and watch DrKnown's, what was he hoping for there? As he dove on that ball to slam it against the back wall, I'd have to see a few seconds before that to maybe understand what he was expecting Drku to do. Maybe that would help make sense of his actions. Right now he's wall dashing into the corner with 0 boost, and he finds an angle. He did! DrKnown, he's not quite Zapatos level in terms of feeling comfortable without boost, but he clearly is not bothered by the fact that he's got he's got only single-digit boost, because he stays all over the ball and finds a way to score. Chig Bungo, thank you for the tier 1 for 17 months. Best of luck, gentlemen. It's a long time tier 1 in. Drku's trying to hit a musty, a breezy back on DrKnown. Little back pass off of his own back wall. DrKnown couldn't get the angle, and is also not able to get the boost steal because he has to rush back to midfield to prevent a long shot. He didn't really get a good enough original attack to force Drku into a bad defensive position. He's paying for that now. Being wall dash, but still can't get up to this ball. I wonder if he actually would have been better off not wall dashing, as wall dashing pushed him maybe slightly past the play, and then he has to turn, jump more vertically, whereas if he doesn't wall dash, can he attack and push it just off target? He doesn't need to actually push it into the orange half. All he needs to do is stop Drku's shot. Drku now in the air, trying to end the show match with a reset and the 5th goal. DrKnown trying to be patient, didn't want to challenge him early on the first setup, and then swung so wide and left that left side of the net open. Drku finds it. And the kind of separation that he has now is one that in a high-scoring 1v1 would be considered a lead, but just barely. But the way these guys have been playing, this 3-goal lead feels like a mountain for DrKnown. Interesting decision. Clearly turns in to bump Drku as he comes to tap the ball. This was a, even if he had gotten on target, it'd be a very easy to save shot attempt from DrKnown. Drku by the ceiling, gets the reset, goes down low. DrKnown has it and pinches with Drku. And he find a way through. Drku off the wall. Great play by DrKnown, rolling it across the net, getting Drku's wheels out of contact with some sort of floor, forcing him to flop in front of net, and then just cutting it behind him. 50 seconds. 2 goals for DrKnown. He's actually been fairly clutch in the kickoffs when he's needed it. Right now, Drku wins this, what could be one of the last kickoffs. DrKnown carry. Drku right back on the ball. Mixing up that defensive strategy that we saw previously. Multiple different times early in the series, we saw him completely leave. Let DrKnown have all the space in the world as he goes back to his corner, but he's totally changed that up in the last few minutes or so to try and finish out this show match. He has stayed all over DrKnown, who is long-shotting a slow rolling ball that is going to score. I can't believe it. Drku, I guess, would have been better off just not touching it, because he could have wasted a couple more seconds if he just didn't even try and clear it. But also, he should have been able to, right? If he just waited a little bit long, I don't know, maybe not. 4 seconds. DrKnown needs a good kickoff. He got a good shot attempt within 4 seconds last time, but that is a kickoff loss. And even if DrKnown's able to get his boost, Drku is just going to be a pressure around the ball that DrKnown is just, there's no chance he keeps it up. So Drku will win the series in his debut against the youngster. It'll be a 3-1 in favor of Drku.